Yeah, yeah.
Hello everyone. I'm Kalpana Chowdhary, founder of Social Tables, managing trustee and chairperson of Jan Seva Foundation, Being the Change and Lagna.com. Lagna.com is a matrimony portal for differently able cancer and acid attack survivor. Along with it, I'm a co-chairperson of ASSOCHAM State Women Entrepreneur Development Council GSDC, member at FICCI Flow, CII IWN Maharashtra, Women Economic Forum, and a TEDx speaker. Before diving into the guest introduction, I would like to take a moment to introduce you with the Social Tables. Social Tables is committed to sustainable development program with societal well-being and environmental consciousness. Every week, we bring out to you some of the brightest minds from the diverse sector to discuss over a few significant ongoing issues. In this week's speaker series, we have a honorable guest, Mr. Shakti Sinha ji. Shri Shakti Sinha ji is the Honorary Director of the Vadodara-based think tank, the Atal Bihari Institute of Policy Research and International Studies, Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda, and is Honorary Director of the Delhi School of Public Policy and Governance, established as an Institute of Excellence by the Delhi University. Earlier, he was the Director of the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library, New Delhi, a national institution. He is also Distinguished Fellow at the India Foundation, New Delhi, and is also uh, uh, is also Distinguished Fellow at the Institute of National Security Studies, Sri Lanka. He was a member of the Indian Administrative Service from 1979 to 2013. He has held position at different levels at the union, provincial, and local levels. Internationally, he headed the United Nations Governance and Development Team in Afghanistan 2006 to 2009, coordinating donor support to the Afghan government, and was earlier senior advisor to India's executive director on the World Bank Board 2000 to 2004, representing Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Sri Lanka. Mr. Sinha has worked at think tank in India, Director India Foundation, visiting senior fellow Observer Research Foundation at the Singapore Research Fellow Institute of South Asian Studies. He is the author of a forthcoming book on Atal Bihari Vajpayee's prime ministership, which would be released later this year. A warm welcome to you on our today's speaker series, sir.
Thank you very much.
Utmost pleasure to have you here today with us. So, in today's discussion, we are going to discuss about the global issues, world politics, and Aatmanirbhar Bharat. Sir, what do you think are the three most serious issues the world or our country is facing at the moment, except for COVID 19?
Of course, the biggest is what you say, except Corona. But yes, okay, leaving that aside, I think the biggest change the world has been facing for some time to come, and we are being affected by it, is a change in great power status. See, it happens rarely, it happens once in a few centuries, that the balance of power in the world starts shifting, where a rising power starts challenging the reigning power. In many such cases, when it has happened, it has led to violence. The American political scientist Graham Allison's book on Rider's Trap talks about it. We saw it in the 19th century. We've seen it in the past. That is a very serious challenge. And if India is trying to grow in the world, India feels that its options sometimes get limited because of these factors. That is very, very important. The second, which I've been talking for years now, in fact, for the last 6, 7 years, and now it's coming to life, is that technological change is not just transformative, it's heavy, completely disruptionist. I mean, just take, this is my phone. Is it just my phone? No, it's my diary, it's my calendar, it's my camera, it's my travel agent, it's my post office, it's my bank. Probably more. I read books, I listen to music, I watch movies. I do all of that. On this is much million times more computing power than the rocket which took man to the moon. This is a tremendous amount of disruption that's happened in the world today. Before Corona, we kept talking about how can we do digitize and how do we bring technology into education, into government. We were struggling, couldn't do it. Corona stopped our physical travel, and suddenly Baroda, I saw at the MS University, classes are being held. I asked a professor, how many classes a day you take? I thought in a week. He's saying 2 classes a day. Now this is MS University Baroda is working at full steam, conducting examinations and conducting classes. They've just done the admissions to the new undergraduate year, where they have taken more students than in the past. All electronically, no physical papers even to be submitted gradually. So you can see that technological change is tremendously changing the world we live in and the world we operate in. And coming to that is a combination of power and technology. And I would think the effect on economic change. I mean, again, I'm not praising myself. In 2015, at a lecture I gave at Allahabad, then printed also, I had said that by the year 2025, most of the jobs which will be there, our university system is not prepared for it. We are not preparing the young people for it. Because and now just see the new jobs which are emerging based on many things, based on technology mainly. Look at the advances in data and blockchain, etc. Unthinkable. Are educational systems in India ready for it? My answer is no. So these are the 3 big things I can think of which are really facing the world and India.
Wow, I agree, sir. The problems have also added to the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
So do you think that coronavirus outbreak can reframe world policies?
Yes, absolutely. You know, Corona has stopped physical movement in a very big way. This has led to massive economic losses everywhere, shutdowns and this, which you can't restart. So the old method of doing business, as an example, whether it's industry, whether it's foreign trade, whether it's simple bank loans, all that has to change. It is not that like you switch off a light and you're going to switch it on and it starts again. This, when you switch off the light, you can't switch it on again immediately. You have to rewire your entire systems. Your supply chains have broken down, as an example. Your stocking level will have to change. Where you sell will have to change. Today, I'll sell less abroad and much more try to sell within the country for a selfish reason, that my chains cannot be broken so easily domestically as they are internationally. So I think coronavirus in many which ways. In politics, some countries have handled it better, others very bad. Some have got a bad reputation. They might not have done a bad job as such. That perception matters. Perception changes how we view the world. And therefore, I think coronavirus has been, and which is why it is the biggest challenge, bigger than I think network politics or technology, that has suddenly changed the playing field that we took for granted. And that is really very, very big.
Yes, totally agree with you. And we are on the same page for this thought. Coronavirus has already made us do things that we never thought we would do. With rising number of cases, I think it's suitable. Well, how has world politics been affected by changes in capitalism?
See, of course, capitalism is a very big term. What has happened over the years is, thanks to globalization, or what became known as hyper-globalization, money flows very easily everywhere, and you're unable to really track money. As a result, you really don't know, and how many of us knew that many of our big startups were doing very well, and I wish them well. The main investments or critical investments, financial, came from China, for example. We didn't know that. Yes. I mean, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm merely telling that when capitalism has reached that kind of a level, where money moves across national borders very, very smoothly and easily, they're unable to track it. This means that once you reach a certain level, you're able to change this effect on economic change in other countries. You can affect changes in politics in other countries. That is only because of the easy availability of money to move across borders. Unless this did not happen. So this change in technology, and second is the outsourcing. The fact that I don't have to run a factory to be a big manufacturer. I outsource my manufacturing across the world. And this is again possible only because of globalization, which is the version of capitalism only. So I think in a very, very big way, capitalism in the last 20, 30 years started moving in the 1980s, but picked up after 1991 and majorly picked up after 2001 when China joined the WTO, has completely changed the way the world functions.
Okay. But I feel that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, because many times in a capitalist state, it is the inheritance of the wealth. Yeah.
Also, that is also a problem for which we should be very conscious about. But at the same rapidly, for the first time in history, the number of poor has got reduced, and by a very big margin. First in China, then in India, and then across the world. So while the rich have got richer, the poor have not got poorer. The gap with the rich has widened, but their own. I mean, go today. Look at the most white goods in India. Are they sold in cities? No, they're sold in villages. Go to any slum of Delhi or Mumbai. Horrible conditions they live in, I agree. They'll have a TV for a long time, a refrigerator for a long time.
So
Now washing machines,
sorry to
air
interrupt.
conditioners, all kinds of other gadgets. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. थोड़ा net आप check करोगे आपके वहाँ से? Such an interesting conversation we are going.
Something wrong with the net?
Yeah. I'm just skipping 2 sentences in between. Such an interesting conversation.
Okay, let me try and use my Wi-Fi, but that is not always a good idea, but I will try it. Where is my Wi-Fi? I'll switch it on. So let us hope that things improve now.
Yeah, better.
So what I was saying was that, well, the rich have got richer, especially in the West, but also in countries like India. The poor have not got poorer. Their condition has improved. It's just that the gap between them and the rich has increased. And when we can really change the life of the poor, we have not done so enough. So that's a matter of shame for us. Even if the poor life has improved, we should have improved it much more. And that is a very, very big challenge facing India especially, but also other countries.
Absolutely. Very well said, sir. And what is the implication of electronic technologies, especially of the internet for world politics?
For world politics? World economy, yes, it has a major implication for domestic economy, for domestic governance. These have a very big implications. For world politics, it has indirectly security implications. If you saw what happened in WikiLeaks, every single email report that the American embassies in the world sent to their government was now available to the world. Suddenly, your way of doing business is being challenged because embassies give one public statement, but their private reports to their home countries report on what they actually feel. Like the recent report we saw for an American diplomat in Delhi on the late Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. Very damning report. This was not known to the public. Now these things can come out. So in that sense, internet has really changed the way government functions and they interact with each other. They can't hide things so well. So in diplomacy, as they say, you never tell the other party what you really think. If you say yes, you basically think, okay, let me think about it, you know. So because as the old joke says, if a diplomat says yes, he means maybe. If he says maybe, it means a no. And if he says a no, he is not a diplomat. You know, so that is the old method of working. Now it can't happen that way because we are hearing each other all the time. We are tapping phones, we are tapping emails, and so on and so forth. So in that sense, it has a major implication for the way world politics happens. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
but I normally associate with the economic change. But yes, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, but also it's very important, right? Because I mean, that's how we evolve with technology. Internet has become this hub of knowledge that nobody thought of. So well,
absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think will be the impact of Aatmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan on our country?
See, as Prime Minister made very clear and others also, Aatmanirbhar basically does not mean self-sufficiency. Does not. We have to export, we want to export, we also have to import certain things. It is that I'm self-sufficient enough to stand up in the world and not be blackmailed or dependent by somebody to the extent that I can't. So that is the international political side of it, that the country must have the confidence to stand up. But domestically, you are a large country with a very young country. Lots of young boys and girls are entering the market, labor market. You have to create jobs for them.
Yes.
So how do you tailor policies which should encourage in India manufacturing and other services which create employment for our people? Because what is the point of being a government if I cannot facilitate? I don't create the job in the government. I facilitate the creation of jobs. So the job creator, as the Prime Minister told our youth, don't become job seeker, become job creator. How do I encourage conditions for these job creators to go out and start creating jobs? That is Aatmanirbhar. That I'm not reliant on somebody else. But of course, that does not mean, again, no export, no imports. We want to export, and critically, we'll have to import many things. There are many things we cannot do. Fine with that. But nobody can blackmail us. Nobody can threaten us that I'll cut off your supplies and you're in trouble.
Yes.
What was done in 73 to the Western world by the oil shock, when the oil countries said, we'll stop exporting oil, what will you do? So we cannot become blackmailed, or we cannot become overly dependent on anybody,
Absolutely. And I love the confidence, the way you said it, sir. and it is also really, it's a great mission by a honorable Prime Minister. It will shift the focus from rich to poor, as it makes most of the population in our country. Well, so again, there's some issue with your net.
Have to create jobs. Yeah, please.
There's some
This is beyond me. This is this.
Okay, now better. आपका net थोड़ा सा issue हो रहा था, now better. So, yeah, moving on. What, according to you, are the 5 pillars of Aatmanirbhar Bharat?
5 pillars. 4 pillars of 5 pillars. Okay. First, of course, continuing what I was telling you, is the belief in India. The belief that this country has to grow, has to take its place among the leading countries of the world. We deserve it. Our people deserve it. We have to deliver that. We have to believe it. And if you don't have self-belief as a country, you will not be able to face it. That does not mean become overconfident. No, do not become, we are very far away. We are still a poor country. We have a long way to go. But I must be clear, that is my goal and I will reach it. The determination that comes from belief. Taking on from the country is to the individual. I must have a belief. Each one of us, 1.3 billion people must have belief in ourselves. Yes, we can change. We can improve things.
You are ready.
Not just for myself, for my family, for my community, for my region, for my country. I have a role to play. I will do it. So, these two are very, very things. Then, how to become a job creator? Do you have the mental makeup to take risks? And along with the mental makeup are our institutions, our banks, our financial institutions, our legal institutions. Are they capable to support a risk-taking capacity? Because when a business fails, it's not because business chori kar gaya. Chori karte hain, I'm not saying that. Many businesses fail, technology changes, the world market changes, the supply chain changes, tax changes. Please understand that when a business fails, that creator, that individual, she deserves a second chance. Unless she has stolen money, that's a different matter. When you have not stolen money, you deserve it. So risk-taking ability has to be encouraged, not just by I can do it, but by the institutions which need to promote risk-taking ability. And that takes me to my next point is, and Prime Minister saying that for a long time, we have to improve government processes to allow legitimate economic activity to flourish. And people talk about Aatmanirbhar. The new scheme launched a couple of weeks ago. It's not a scheme. It's a mental way of doing things. It's called Mission Karam Yogi.
Yes.
How to strengthen the capabilities of our government servants, our public servants across India, across level, to improve their capacities. Because with the world changing, technology changing, financial structures changing, our policymakers and the implementers must both understand the change. They should be mentally ready for it. They should have the capacity to deal with it. This is absolutely important. And the last, of course, not the least, last is an openness to new ideas.
Yes.
My self-confidence, my improvement in government processes will never happen unless I'm open to ideas. If I go the old rigid fixed way, I cannot succeed in the new world. I must experiment. I must see what others are doing, learn from their successes, learn from their failures, learn from my failures. So openness to new ideas from anywhere in the world. India does not have a monopoly of ideas. We have to learn from others also. Learn technology, learn business management skills, other things from the world and from each other. So this, I think, 5. Yeah, this 5, I think, is now what I would think are the main pillars of.
Fantastic. These 5 pillars definitely help our economy to raise and hope for a better future. So lastly, but not the least, we do know climate change is a global
economy and society.
Yes, absolutely. So lastly, but not the least, we do know climate change is a global concern currently. What do you have to comment on climate change, being it the cause, effect, and the remedy?
You see, the cause is very simple: overconsumption in the world.
Yes.
And uses of technology that are not sustainable for the environment. Now, I'm not blaming anybody directly in the sense that, like, people object to cell phone tower near their house. Oh, it is very damaging to health. But they want cell phone coverage also. So you have to find balance between your technology, your consumption, and nature. You have to find a balance all the time. There is an imbalance. For a long time, the West has consumed, overconsumed, which has caused this imbalance. Now China has grown, India is growing. If India and China is far ahead of us, start consuming nature resources at the same pace as the Western world, that's the end of the world. And therefore, even though today we are far poorer than them, we have also to accept our responsibility, because it's a common world for all of us. When there's floods, major floods, rainfall fails, tsunami happens, earthquake happens, that does not recognize the rich and the poor. Corona we have seen. So we have a common future, and therefore we have to cooperate in adopting technologies and lifestyles to cope with the new world. And that is why at Paris, we made a shift from the old position that I have an equal right to pollute. No, nobody has. We have to find a balance there. Starting by, again, Prime Minister of the International Solar Alliance. The fact is, India has to contribute. The world has to contribute. India alone cannot do it. But we also must learn that maybe everything we are doing is not really the right thing to do. The changes have to come about to move from thermal, coal burning, to more sustainable energy. As an example, to use water better. We waste a lot of water in agriculture and other places. Can we increase our crops and yet reduce water consumption? And lots of things to do everywhere. And I think there's no one solution, and millions of small solutions which have to come together if we are to get some degree of improvement in the world climate change as it is happening. We can't reverse it completely, but we can first slow it down and then hopefully start reversing it. That is my hope. That can only be a hope, but that is my hope.
Crossed finger and point very well made, sir. Climate change has been a problem for years, and I think that there are just talks about it and no implementing, not much implementing. Of course, there is some kind of implementation, but not real work is being done. Well, sir, thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful, insightful conversation. And I think there are thought processes also alike, and we are happy to learn so much from you.
Thank you.
Now, quick rapid fire. I won't leave you. I won't let you go so quickly.
I thought it's over. Okay.
No. I won't let you go so quickly. So, sir, quick rapid fire. Who inspires you the most?
Gautam Buddha.
Yeah, my favorite too. Any quote? Favorite quote?
Yes. You know, when he had become old and health was failing, and so his disciples asked him, in my absence, how will you, in your absence, what will we do? And how will you cope? So he said that, and basic what he said was experience it. Life is about experience, learn from experience. He said, even what I have told you, don't believe me. Test it out, experiment it out. If what I tell you, you find to be correct, follow it, otherwise reject it. So that belief, that questioning is more important.
Yes.
That blind faith is bad.
Yes.
That we should be open to new ideas and experiments.
Yes.
And that at the end of the day, what matters is how you do it and not what you achieve. Because you may be a multimillionaire, when you die, you leave everything behind. You can't carry it with you, right? Nothing can carry it with you.
Yes.
So that belief that anything which begins must end. So death is there. You see nature. Plant starts with a small seed, becomes a big tree, rots, falls down, comes back to the soil. Over. Nobody cries for it. So change is an essential part of life. Whatever begins has to end. And cause and effect. So in small messages, Gautam Buddha really inspires me a lot.
Yes, same here. So even Lord Mahavira also says the same thing. Ask questions. Until you don't ask and don't experience, how would you even know about it? And don't have a blind faith.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so what is the greatest risk you have ever taken?
Greatest risk I've ever taken? I don't take risk. I'm not a risk taker, but I don't know. I left home to come to Delhi to study. People said, why are you going so far away? So these things were different. Or I quit the IAS, or I quit the State Bank of India before that.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
I came back to India. So I can't say one is the greatest risk. But I think in life one does take certain risk. One should not be foolishly in taking risk. Don't take a risk for the sake of the risk. But where you see that what your present line is not working out, be prepared for changes. Get out of your comfort zone. And what technique has worked in the past may not work tomorrow. Something has been good for me yesterday. Tomorrow it won't work for me. Be prepared to get rid of it. So that is what I think of risk, not of jumping out of a window and hoping that things will be all right. That is not a risk. That's foolishness.
So I can say that you have taken your life as a very adventurous way.
Yeah. I enjoy life. I love life. But yesterday is over. Yesterday is gone. It's gone. I can't say, no. It won't help. That won't help.
Wonderful.
Live life for the moment, just now. I don't know tomorrow. I don't even know 5 minutes later on. I don't even know next 1 minute. Just leave it as it is.
Exactly.
Just leave it as it is.
Very true. So I just came from hospital now, and I got my reports and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I have to do my today. I just got my report from US, and the doctor said that there's further a lot of other treatments which you have to do. But I think just 1 hour back, I was told that I have to get admitted again to the hospital go with those therapy and everything to relive those, moment again for the third time. But yet I'm here. So I think, who knows? I mean, I don't even know what is going to happen next moment. So I don't even care about it.
But I can wish you all the best. It's tough. Yeah, just live it. Full stop.
Yeah, I'm just living it, sir. And we are just so much alike, and I feel so happy to have an interaction with you. Thank you so much. Sir, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Become more hardworking.
अच्छा कितना तो काम करते हो sir. I've been following.
नहीं.
बिल्कुल. I've been following.
Okay. Be more organized. My mind and what I read, I should organize it better. I should organize my time better. So I don't. What should I say? Go here and there. I don't get distracted so easily. I should be less distracted and focused.
You're very focused. One time here, though you just flew down from Baroda.
Baroda. Yeah. That's not a short flight, 1.5 hours.
That's amazing. And you're here right away.
I love Baroda. Baroda is a lovely town. I love it. I love the place. I love the company. The university is very lively. So I like going to Baroda.
I'm sure. And people love you, of course.
I don't know about that. You have to tolerate me. But Vadodara is a nice city. Yeah, and MS University is a nice place. People are very friendly.
Basically. Yes. And your favorite hobby, sir?
Reading. Talking to people. Yeah. Meeting friends. Traveling to new places. Many hobbies. I love traveling to new places. I love any experience which is new. And not the old experience, new experience.
New experience. And so the place where you love being the most in that case? You love traveling?
I have lived in Afghanistan, in Kabul. I've lived in the United States, I've lived in Singapore, I lived in Tamil Nadu, in small towns in Bihar, in Delhi now for last so many years. I'm
Wow.
comfortable everywhere. I'm
Wow.
Mount Abu, Rajasthan for 3 years.
Wow.
I'm comfortable everywhere. I'm comfortable everywhere. I
Wow.
enjoy new food, so I'm very comfortable. But yes, when I go to Kangra in Himachal, I'm very happy there. When I go to Bali, I'm not a tourist. I'm very happy there. It's very relaxed. When I go to Bali, I'm relaxed. I go to one or two good temples, just sit there, feel happy. You know, Indians, we don't go to the beach and spend hours on the beach. Indians are not the beach people.
Yes, yes, yes.
But yeah, and Bali, there's nothing to see. You just be there.
Be there, be there.
Just be.
But even
Just
that's
be there.
kind of a meditation, hai na, sir?
Ha, life, yeah. In one way, life is a meditation. So yeah.
Right, right, right. And the very last question, if you were the Prime Minister for a day, what is the first thing you would do?
One, I'm sure it will never happen. And very good in the sense that, I don't know, because many people say emperor for a day and I'll do this and I'll do that. And if I look at governance and I look at the problems facing it, any one thing I really don't think so will really make a difference. It may be good for my ego, but any one thing to do is the approach to governance which is important. It is service after all. And how to improve things for the people, how to facilitate their growth. Not just their economic growth, their personal growth also, societal growth. So many things to happen. So I guess it will be about improving, this was not a one thing. It's about improving the administrative systems, how to make it more accountable, how to, because the country cannot be run by one man dictator. That man can lead us. That man can give us ideas, man or woman, that person can give us ideas. At the end of the day, the country has to change itself, So the Prime Minister, whoever he is, he cannot change us, because ultimately, end of the day, society is so much stronger and bigger, and government is a part of it. Government, unlike say in China, where the Communist Party is bigger than the Chinese society, in India, Indian society is much bigger than the government. Government is very important, of course. I'm not saying it's not important. But I think I would rather not be Prime Minister for a day. I would be happy not to become Prime Minister for a day. But the focus has to be on improving, making government more accountable.
Very true, very practical. So before we conclude, a few words of wisdom or an advice you would like to give our audience, especially our youth.
One, of course, is that very paradoxical, very contradictory advice I'll give. One is, of course, that be grateful for what you have got. Be grateful for that. And even as you're grateful for what you've got, be ready to work to change it for the better. So don't be satisfied, not in a personal sense of dissatisfaction and life has been unfair to me. That's a negative mindset. That won't help you. But yes, how can I make a difference in the lives of other people? My family, my friends, in my neighborhood. Most important, how can I make the lives of those whom I don't know and who don't know me better? See, helping a family member, helping a friend, it's normal. We do it, right? Can you do something where the recipient of your goodness does not know you, will never meet you, will never thank you? If you can do that, I think that's a life worth living. That's a life worth living.
Wonderful message, sir. And any message you would want to give to our organization, Social Tables?
No, I'm so happy you're doing this work. People don't realize that others have to go through so much of trouble and tensions. And see the acid survivors, they've been disfigured, but they're human beings. They have something inside. Recognize that beauty. And how does one help? Don't have sympathy for them. How do I facilitate their participation in society as any normal? No think of normalcy. How do I allow them to participate productively in society, socially, economically? If you work on that, if you do that, help them as an example. And if you're able to work with the youth, provoke them into thinking productively, not negatively. Productive thinking can be critical thinking. You'll criticize what is wrong, That doesn't mean you become criticize it for sake of criticizing it, but a productive criticism to help them again become better, to make society better. I think that is a message that you're doing, and I think that's very, very good. But pass that message to the others also. They should also adopt it and have that positive attitude. Whatever the obstacles, I shall fight. I shall overcome it.
Yes, thank you so much for your blessings and kind words. Wow. Yes. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. And let me take an opportunity to give you a vote of thanks, sir. It's a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks to Shri Shakti Sinha ji, who despite his busy schedule has found time to grace this special interaction. We are extremely grateful to you for sharing your words of encouragement and giving us valuable inputs. Your eminent presence has indeed made this interaction a memorable one, and we unite to thank you from the bottom of our heart for your kindness, interest, and support. We wish you all the very best in all your.
Thank you.
Thank you
Pleasure.
so much.
It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.